the weapon of proxy warfare, leveraging the power of jihadi groups to keep more powerful adversaries off balance and bring them to the negotiating table, that has become less and less effective over a prolonged period of time, and now it has come back to bite them with a vengeance.
Hello and welcome to Strat News Global. I'm Nitin Gokhale. With me today is a long-time Pakistan watcher, Ramanathan Kumar, and a familiar face on Strat News Global. And the topic of discussion between us today, what else but Pakistan in the current context of what Afghanistan is doing to Pakistan or what they are fighting over, and of course the wider context of Pakistan's own existence and own approach to various policies that it is pursuing over the past 1 year or so. So Kumar, welcome again, and thank you for taking out time.
Thank you very much for having me back on your show.
So let's start with what's happening between Afghanistan and Pakistan. I mean, who would have thought in 2021 when the ISI chief went to Kabul and said the tea is good, or whatever that remark he made when the Taliban made a comeback there, and from there to now, what is the distance they have travelled, and why? What has happened? Why is Pakistan now facing the brunt of the Taliban anger, if I can use that word?
Yes, indeed. It is a sea change from 2021 when the former Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid went to the Serena Hotel in Kabul and said everything is all right. So everything is far from all right as far as Afghanistan and Pakistan are concerned now. But I am in many ways reminded of what the American author and strategic affairs expert Edward Luttwak has written about the paradoxical logic of strategy as opposed to linear or simple logic. And the thrust of Luttwak's argument is that, it's the most effective weapon that you have at your disposal eventually becomes the least effective. And that is exactly what we seem to be seeing in the case of Pakistan. The weapon of proxy warfare, leveraging the power of jihadi groups to keep more powerful adversaries off balance and bring them to the negotiating table, that has become less and less effective over a prolonged period of time, and now it has come back to bite them with a vengeance. As you said, ever since the Taliban came back to power in Kabul in 2021, there's been a rising trend of violence in Pakistan with the TTP, which by all accounts is being provided shelter and safe sanctuaries by their ideological brethren, despite the stout denials of the Afghan Taliban, who have learnt, I dare say, many a trick of the trade from their erstwhile patrons. They have said that there's no such thing going on, but from their bases in Afghanistan, the TTP, which is an assorted array of groups, the Hafiz Gul Bahadur group, and so on and so forth, they have been staging many a spectacular attack in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and in Balochistan, and Pakistan has tried every trick in the book during Imran Khan's time, and when Faiz Hamid was the DGISI, they tried the softer option, carrots, the carrot option of negotiating with the Taliban, with the Taliban and the TTP. And in fact, many of the TTP cadres were then allowed to come back. They had crossed over from Pakistan to Afghanistan in the past. They were allowed to come back.
Right.
But then, the critics argue that is exactly what let the TTP off the hook.
And it got revived.
And it got revived. And then, of course, after the change of regime in Pakistan, particularly after now Field Marshal and then General Asim Munir took over, there was a clear shift in strategy, and the carrot gave way to the stick. But that hasn't helped either. The number of suicide bombings has, if anything, and attacks against the Pakistani security forces has only shown a steep upward climb, and that is what led to the current sort of, the sharp escalation in hostilities.
Sure.
So both the carrot and the stick have failed in a spectacular fashion. Pakistan, has been here in this kind of a situation before. And in 2007-8, when the TTP phenomenon really began, that time the insurgency had, almost reached from the tribal areas. It had
to the cities.
To the cities, and it had almost reached the doorsteps of Islamabad. But then the Pakistan Army under the when General Kayani was the chief, and later on Raheel Sharif, etc., launched a series of military actions, pushed them into North Waziristan, and then carried out more military operations, and put a lid on the whole thing. But once again, so the wheel has come full circle, and Pakistan is almost back where it was in 2007-8. And I'm also reminded of, in this context, the irony of the whole thing, of what the Field Marshal Asim Munir made a speech or an address at the Pakistan Military Academy
At
Kabul
Kabul,
a few days ago, which has been widely reported upon. And ironically enough, I mean, he advised the people of Afghanistan to choose between progress and religious obscurantism. And how ironic is it that,
exactly.
it was precisely the religious obscurantists which had been the darling of the ISI and the Pakistan Army, the Pakistani establishment.
Sure.
And today it is those very religious obscurantists who've now, Pakistan doesn't know how to, they become a nuisance, or much more than a nuisance. They become mortal enemies of Pakistan.
And a threat to Pakistan on
Absolutely.
the Western Front.
Yes.
In that sense.
In fact, it's even a little reminiscent of the Americans' own experience of, there was a time when the Hekmatyars of the world, the Rabbanis, and even the Bin Ladens were the darlings of the ISI way back, of the CIA, and way back in the 1980s.
During the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan.
Absolutely, in the Afghan jihad. And then when, all this, when Al-Qaeda arose and attacked the Twin Towers, thereafter, I mean, they became the mortal enemies of the United States. So indeed, what goes around comes around eventually.
So full circle completely. But since you spoke about the Kabul speech, this is the second time in about 6 months or 8 months that now Field Marshal Asim Munir is threatening to take India down and half the world down if India sort of remains hostile or antagonistic and becomes as more hegemonistic, as he puts it. Where do you see this going between India and Pakistan, really? Because after Operation Sindoor, it's been on nearly 6 months now. And it seems that all the military officers, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Shamshad Shahid Mirza has also talked about India being, I think what the word he used was hegemonistic and militarized polity and political military. And Trojan horse, India being a Trojan horse in the global south.
Well, this again is the ultimate irony, the pot calling the kettle black. I mean, which military is more politicized than the Pakistani army? It is, there's a supreme irony in what the Pakistani chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee has said, and indeed, as I said, what Asim Munir has been saying. That having been said, the Pakistan Army Chief's statements, if you ask me, we've discussed his
personality, yes.
etc. in the past.
Right.
And I think these statements are entirely of a piece with the man. They are absolutely characteristic of him. And there's been a lot of talk whether Asim Munir is a jihadi general and so on. But now those are labels, but I would say this at the risk of maybe a certain amount of repetition. I think in general, in Field Marshal now, Asim Munir, I think you have a general with a conservative / puritanical streak who is absolutely uncompromising.
Implacable.
Yes,
really.
That is his general personality and his demeanor. And I think a lot of this, hawkish talk comes from there. I would, in a sense, contrast him with, say, his immediate predecessor,
Yes.
General Bajwa.
Correct.
Who was, all said and done, I would say that he was of a slightly more
pragmatic
and a pragmatic bent of mind. I think a lot of people who watch Pakistan's army closely would possibly agree with me there. So there are many, I think, and quite clearly it's also possible. I am convinced that Asim Munir, people of his, mental makeup, they do possibly seriously believe in some of these things that they are saying, which makes it very dangerous. In fact, the very miscalculations that they are talking about, I think those miscalculations are likely to be precipitated by Pakistan itself.
Right. Rather than Indian decision makers.
Absolutely, rather than by Indian decision makers. So it is not very comforting. But I would say that there are many inconsistencies and contradictions in some of these policies that Pakistan itself is following right now. And those, of course, are not highlighted by the likes of Asim Munir and Sahir Shamshad Mirza. But for instance, coming back to this speech or
Yes.
the Kabul address,
yes.
I was struck by a certain order of priorities in what he said. He of course raved and ranted about India, and then he spoke about he hyperventilated about Afghanistan also. But then you see, immediately after that, he spoke, of course, of the solidarity with the Islamic countries. Thereafter, I'm going in the same order to the best of my recollection. Then there was after the solidarities with the with the Islamic countries, there was a special mention of Iran. So obviously, the Shia Sunni, the Sunni Shia is there. Thereafter, now this is the interesting part. I found it significant that he came to China before he spoke about the US. So it was China first, their all-weather friend, and
all that Himalayan, higher than Himalaya, deeper than Indian Ocean.
Absolutely.
Kind of thing, yeah.
And he, of course, paid fulsome tribute to the Chinese and how their expertise and their help had come to their, had assisted them during
Operation Sindoor.
That's right. And then he talked about, their efforts to revive the relationship with the United States of America.
Sure.
And this is where I think this fundamental contradiction, this great contradiction at this point of time, that is very, very stark. On the one hand, Pakistan has gone deeper and deeper into the Chinese orbit.
Sure.
Militarily, as we saw in May,
Yeah.
they are entirely dependent or hugely dependent on China.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they are also, they're also trying to get out of jail, as they say, as far as the relationship with the US is concerned, which had been in the doldrums for several years, for close to a decade now, I would say, after Pakistan's or the Americans' dependence on Pakistan vis-a-vis Afghanistan and the global war on terrorism, quote unquote, reduced. The coalition support funds dried up. The large infusions of American aid, it tapered off.
Sure.
And obviously Pakistan wants to revive all that. And now, of course, they are dangling the carrot of rare earths and critical minerals in Balochistan.
Sure.
And so, on the one hand, you have the acute military dependency on China, and to rescue your economy, which of course remains the great Achilles heel of Pakistan. They are dependent on the IMF, the West, and on the Americans. This contradiction, to my mind, I think is, and this is not, 1971, where Pakistan played the role of a secret
mediator,
conduit between the United States and China. So 2025 is not 1971. It's also not the immediate aftermath of the 9/11 attacks, and when Pakistan was declared a major non-NATO ally of the United States. Things have changed considerably since then.
Sure.
And what with, the Chinese have not, I would say, have not invested $60 million or whatever in CPEC, and their stock of CPEC 2. So how do you balance that against, giving, say, allowing American companies to come in and set up base in Pasni or adjacent to Gwadar?
So Chinese surely will not be happy.
Absolutely. And I was, reminded of a couple of days ago when I saw in the papers about Australia, trying to reduce its economic dependency on Chinese markets and, entering into a deal with the Americans for extraction of rare earths and other critical minerals.
Sure.
And immediately, the Chinese have fired a shot across the Australian bow.
They have, yes,
and said that, I think, words to the effect that they will not sit by idly if their core interests are affected. So if that can happen with
Australia, which is not so critical to China.
Absolutely. Just imagine, is Pakistan in a position to do this? And I don't think, the prospect of a Nobel Peace Prize, the unlikely prospect of a Nobel Peace Prize for someone and a dodgy, cryptocurrency outfit like World Liberty Financial. I don't think these can be the
drivers.
Absolutely, and I don't think they can help Pakistan to get out of jail, as they said, as far as the relationship with the US is concerned. I think it's still far off. So these, and talking of critical minerals and rare earths and the extraction and their extraction from a place like Balochistan, I'm reminded of this famous saga of the Rekordik mine in Balochistan, in Chagai district.
Yes.
The Pakistanis, of course, the Balochistan government, or then Balochistan government, the provincial government, they signed a deal with the Canadian company way back in the 1990s.
Correct.
And it has taken so many twists and turns, provincial government versus federal government, the Pakistani Supreme Court stepping in, the Canadian company, going to knocking on the doors of the World Bank and so on and so forth. Now I'm aware that I read that recently the ADB sanctioned some funds for the project. Sure. But the point is that 30 years down the line, I don't think a kilogram of critical
Rare earths
mineral
have been extracted.
So I think by the time all this, if ever it sees the light of day, I think the Trump administration and the Field Marshal would have long moved on, and the world will be at a different place.
Sure.
So there are, I think, many inherent contradictions in what in the initiatives or the various divergent strands that are being pursued by the Pakistani establishment. But that having been said, I mean, we have to be on our guard at all times.
All times, yeah, because for them, India is the very key factor to try and project to the world that this is a unstable region, and 2 nuclear powers or 3 nuclear powers right next to each other, and that's what they'll keep doing every time. But are there any limits to Pakistan's nuisance value?
Indeed, there are. I mean, I think Pakistan, of course, is acutely conscious of its nuisance value. In fact, any value, I think Pakistan's nuisance value is far greater than its constructive value.
Right.
They are acutely aware of that. The issue is that how does one deal with it? I think that's I think from our point of view, I think the most important thing, because by now, faced with the kind of challenges and that they have been facing, I think by any yardstick of logic and sanity, the Pakistani establishment would have gone back to the drawing board, and they would have seriously examined the limitations of trying to be a rentier state, as it's to use a famous expression, externally,
right,
and to be obsessed with security-centric policies. Instead of that, I mean, they would try to be a more normal state, and they would try to reduce tensions both with Afghanistan on one hand, both across the Durand line, and and with us also.
Yeah, with us. Yeah.
But then that will require a fundamental change, perhaps almost in Pakistan's DNA, and that is something perhaps it's a tall ask. But coming back to your question about how to deal with it, with my background, I do tend to feel, to a large extent, that there are, and I think others have also written about it, I would draw attention to the writings of one of my own very illustrious forebears, Mr. B. Raman, who headed our Pakistan and counterterrorism apparatus for a long time. And he had often, cautioned about the limitations of using overt and blunt force against a wielder of the covert option. And I think there is some merit in it, because when you use, overt force against a person who is using the weapon of plausible deniability, then to some extent you are playing into his hands.
And then you are being termed as an aggressor then.
Yes, and the core issue then perhaps gets lost sight of. And therefore I think there is considerable wisdom in saying that what is in the covert domain is perhaps best left in the covert domain, and the covert domain and the covert games that Pakistan has played, there are very serious limitations to it, and others can play those games
equally well,
if not better, which even the Afghan Taliban is showing right now. So if they can show that, I think I don't need to elaborate further.
Yeah, no, I got it. In fact, that's what people should know. that while Pakistan's nuisance value remains, dealing with it is not easy because the options are not easy. But I think India being at a place where it is now poised for a major progress, leading power in terms of economy at least, and then in a major military, India should not get bogged down with Pakistan, which is what it wants, and which is what China wants.
Absolutely.
So therefore, it needs to be dealt with care. If I can just use that small word, with care and with maybe more wisdom, like you mentioned. But I think there are many things to discuss about Pakistan. But I think you've given us a broad sweep of what Pakistan state is and what the establishment is. I think for the time being, that's good enough for our viewers. But we'll come back to Kumar when such incidents and such triggers take place in Pakistan vis-a-vis India, and now of course in the region as a whole, with Afghanistan also becoming a player and India playing its cards right with Afghanistan. Let's see what happens on that. But for the time being, I must thank you for sparing your time and giving us this insights.
Thank you very much.
Keep watching Strat News Global. You know where to reach us. Your feedback is extremely important. So do comment. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel. Like and share this video. And of course, we'll see you on the other side whenever there's an occasion on this particular topic or subject vis-a-vis Pakistan. Thanks for watching.